Authority Studios.
100.7 WMMS, Cleveland.
It's time to give. Hey, time to give stuff away.
All right, I want to go see the New Jersey versus the World Tour, Senses Fail and Saves the Day. Each of them playing one of their classic albums in its entirety. Special guest, a band called Narrowhead from Dallas. Saturday, November 23rd. It's all going to go down at the House of Blues. LiveNation.com with the details. If you want to go, be caller 10. Census Fail saves the day. This fall, 216-578-1007 or 800-348-1007.
We now return to something barely worth your time. Already in progress.
The whole thing is fucking pointless.
The Alan Cox Show.
On 100.7 W.
It really is. Hey, listen, you're lucky I don't play all of them. I got, save a prayer for me. I'm the one that's got to listen to them and vet them and decide which ones I'm going to play.
Good for you. Thanks,
Oh,
Alan.
God. I mean, I'm trying to help
Saving
out.
us,
I'm
you
trying to
know?
help out. Yes. Trying to help out here. I'm going to play one for you called later on called Hot Lava Dreams. I'll let you guess.
Boy, gross.
I'll let you guess what that one's about. Hey, he's nothing if not committed.
Yeah.
I will also have, since we were out yesterday, I will get both of my winners in about a half an hour for tomorrow night to join Bill Squire on the Cleveland Funny Bus. If you go to funnybus.net, you can get all the details. Every Wednesday night in May and June, we do Alan Cox Show night in the Cleveland Funny Bus. Bill and I alternating weeks as your leggy and vivacious hosts. Local comedians, very funny people, are your tour guides proper. But it's a lot of fun. There's a couple of tickets available for tomorrow night's a bus to buy. There are a couple of tickets remaining for next Wednesdays with me. But again, go to funnybus.net. You'll click on Cleveland, and then you'll click on the Alan Cox Show, and it'll tell you what you need to know. But it's a lot of fun. Leave from Collision Bend. It's BYOB. It's great. So about a half an hour, I will have a pair of tickets for two people to join Bill tomorrow night. Hopefully the weather will be nice, right? That's the best part is when you get weather.
A good weather day is nice.
A nice, yes, a nice weather day on the Cleveland Funny Bus.
Looks like it's going to rain in the morning, but by the evening it should be okay.
Oh, fantastic.
Could be a little chilly. It can
Yeah.
be like 60s, but we can make that work.
And wear a jacket. Maybe
Who
a
doesn't
light
love wearing
sweater.
a jacket?
Come on. It is May. We've gotten into this. We've gotten used to how warm it's been. It is still May. I know that emotionally, once Memorial Day hits, that's when people really think that it's the beginning of summer. And people start acting accordingly. But maybe not necessarily the case. It's not going to be like 85 degrees this week. It's going to be like upper 60s, low 70s. The Home Alone house is on the market. This is in suburban Chicago. And it's going to cost you a lot of money. Obviously, it's
a gigantic house.
It's a massive house.
And
yes.
they've made incredible upgrades to it
Yeah.
as well. Like, it is not just a regular house anymore. They have
No.
like a full basketball court in the basement.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Or like it's a half court, but like it's still high enough ceilings that you can shoot hoops in that house.
The outside still looks exactly the same,
Mhm.
which is basically what people are buying it for.
The
But
little
it's
statue isn't in the driveway, though.
well, it kept getting knocked over by the pizza delivery boy, right?
That's like part of it.
Yeah.
Where do
But-
you see the video of the inside?
I
Or
just
you
see
just
still
looking at
photos.
pictures?
I saw somebody showing it on TikTok or something.
Oh,
Yeah, it
I'm
was
looking
on. I saw it on
just
Zillow.
Googled it.
671 Lincoln Avenue in Winnetka, Illinois. That is a very, very affluent northern suburb of Chicago. And the people who are selling it for $5.25 million. Sorry, $5.25 million. 5 bed, 6 bath, indoor sports court, home movie theater. About 9,000 square feet. Big place. So they've completely overhauled. Now, they keep pointing out that they overhauled the interior of the but the interior in the movie wasn't the actual house, was it? They didn't shoot in the house.
It looks.
I figured
like
they built.
did.
Really,
I think they did, yeah.
I figured they built
Well, they
sets
did-
for the inside. That's
they-
usually the way those go.
They built some of the sets in a school nearby for because they did a lot of damage to the
Yeah.
house.
Yep.
But I think there's it was based on that house.
Oh wow.
Okay.
I'm looking at. It was like they showed the living room, and that was it.
Yeah.
30-second story.
Yeah. So they
NBC?
completely renovated the inside of the house, and it's kind of
It's like open
floor
plan. It's
very
very modern.
modern. Yes. Whites and grays and blacks.
Finished
and-
the basement completely, so it's not that creepy, scary basement anymore.
You think that was the actual basement of the house?
It had to be
With the
Alan.
giant,
It had to be.
With the giant furnace.
Yeah.
And yeah. Well, it's out there and it is being listed, and I'm curious how many owners it's had. I'm not getting the sense that one person has owned it since the Home Alone days. But I don't know. 34 years since Home Alone premiered. You know, we had Daniel Stern on the show last week. And this is always a thing that bites me in the ass when somebody comes on to talk about a memoir or something, is I'll talk to them as they'll be kind enough to send me a copy of it, and I'll read some of it so I can kind of get a sense of what's happening. And but then it's in the weeks to follow when all of these like juicy nuggets start making their way out and things that I would love to have him back on and talk to him about. Daniel Stern, of course, has had a very prolific career. He and Joe Pesci were the Wet Bandits in Home Alone. He's mostly famous to 90s kids for that movie. Marv, that's right. But his book is called Home and Alone, and he was on the show last week talking about it. And now all these little snippets come out. Like Daniel Stern said that Bono was a pretentious a-hole. Now, again, that's no big zinger. That's like his reputation. And they didn't name Daniel Stern. People kind of had to suss it out. I guess some people who had read the book. They're like, a Hollywood star calls Bono a pretentious a-hole after the singer threw a late-night party next door to Daniel Stern's house. And he called the cops. Now, listen, if it's in your neighborhood, you want to make sure that, people in the neighborhood aren't being bothered too much, and your neighbors might look to you as a prominent person to be the tip of the spear there. But this sounds more to me like he wasn't invited to the party, and maybe that's why he was mad. And again, this is no hot take. I mean, everybody thinks Bono is a pretentious a-hole. I've never met the man. I don't have a problem with Bono. He seems to be a pretty sharp guy. And he seems to be somebody who is concerned and active with a lot of issues. But Daniel Stern was having none of it. Said it was way too loud. And he called the cops. Families with children are trying to sleep. That is the through line with Daniel Stern in his book, is how important the whole family thing is, and how the performing and whatever accolades come with it are kind of secondary. So that and the story that, and I didn't get into it with him, but he was cast in this show in the early 90s called Partners. And it's kind of a big part of his story that the studio sued him over this sitcom because they thought that he was bad-mouthing it in the press. And he lost a lot of money on this at the time. And it turns out that the reason that the whole thing fell apart is because he was the whistleblower on like a Me Too type situation. You know who Brett Ratner is?
Yeah.
By the way, these are two guys, the two people he talks about are two guys who no one is shocked at these kinds of accusations. Brett Ratner and Jeremy Piven.
Man, I was just watching.
Jeremy Piven's gotten in trouble before.
I was watching some Entourage yesterday.
Yeah.
Jeremy Piven.
Yeah, so, whatever you think of Jeremy Piven, he's been on the show a couple of times, and, he's one of those guys you never quite know which one you're going to get. And Brett Ratner has had his share of problems, too. These guys' names are always included in Me Too type stories. And they were both involved in this show with Daniel Stern, this sitcom. And he said that there were women on the set that would, because I guess maybe Daniel Stern seemed like a friendly enough guy, that they were confiding in him that both Brett Ratner and Jeremy Piven were sexually harassing women. And since Daniel Stern was an executive producer on the show, it was kind of his obligation to handle that. And so he took it to the TV executives.
And they fired him?
And, well, they said, don't say anything about this or we'll sue you. So they gave him the brush off. And he said that he was specifically told to shut up around Les Moonves, who himself had
some stuff going on.
Yeah, 2018 is when he got booted out over there at CBS. So from top to bottom, it sounded like there was a lot of enabling going on or something.
You mean Moonvest over at CBS?
What's that?
Moonvest over at CBS.
Yeah.
CBS over, that's a 30 Rock moment.
Les Moonves?
No, because it was he's like, I was just telling my game show idea to Moonvest over at CBS. And there was a homeless guy that had a moonvest on.
Oh, Moonvest.
Yeah.
I see. So, yeah, he ran it up the flagpole, and they didn't like it. And so they sued him for $25 million.
Jeez.
And he had to give back the money that they had paid him in advance. So they had to deal with going to court over all of that. But no good deed goes unpunished.
I was going to say, he's just trying to be a nice guy and defend these women. Oh,
So
scummy business.
In his book, he wrote, "Thank God for the Me Too movement," and F. Brett Ratner, and F. Jeremy Piven, and F. Les Moonves, and the top level execs at Columbia. And then so, of course, people look for statements from Jeremy Piven and Brett Ratner. So far, nothing. I mean, Jeremy Piven should have been sued over all of the allegations that he got a hairpiece. And for many, many years, he said, no, I never got plugs. I never had anything like that. But dude's walking around looking like Wayne Newton.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is a guy who...
Listen, his season 1 hair is very different than his season 6 hair.
Well, even before
on
that,
Entourage,
he auditioned. He was one of the guys that auditioned to
For
play
George,
George on
yeah.
Seinfeld.
I mean, just PCU, he's pretty much bald.
Yes. And he's playing a guy in college.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, in the movie, he's been there for a long time.
Right.
But, I mean, he already looked like he was 40 in PCU. God, I love PCU.
That's a great movie.
Oh, what a great movie.
Is that streaming anywhere?
PCU, I don't know about that. That's another one that when I was digging through some old DVDs, I'm like, oh, I've got PCU on DVD. Watch it anytime I want.
What a come up.
With a 12-year-old looking David Spade. Actor named Chris Young, who was the main dude in that movie. I don't know what ever happened to that guy. I never saw him in another movie ever. I don't know what happened to him.
Because that's a
Trying to
movie
help
that had
women.
so many different people that went on to have
Yeah.
bigger careers. I mean, John Favreau's in it.
Mm-hmm.
You got
Matt Ross, who was in Silicon Valley,
Yeah.
was in it.
Jessica Walter is in it. And
Yep.
she was already a pretty established actress, but, she had a real good second or third act, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Arrested Development and all
Mhm.
that. Yeah. Actress named Sarah Trigger was in that movie. She was the one that Jeremy Piven's character was trying to get back with.
Uh-huh.
In real life, she's married to John Cryer, and they had a very acrimonious divorce. But, yeah, love PCU. A guy named George Clinton was in that movie.
Can you what me where the Pampers is?
You're wearing the shirt of the band you're going to see.
Don't be that
Don't
guy.
be that guy. That's not even a thing anymore, right?
No, not at
A
all.
lot of people. That's a thing of the past. Because it used to be a legit thing. You did not wear. It just wasn't done. Wasn't done.
Dude, I wear the merch I buy at the show.
Do you put it on at the
you're
show?
that generation,
Yes.
though. Like,
I'll walk in, buy a brand new Backstreet Boys shirt, put it on over my tank top, and so that way I'm wearing the current merch.
Okay, you dress planning to have a T-shirt over it.
If I don't already have merch from that band.
Gotcha. See, I buy merch on my way out of the show. Before
that's a dangerous
before
game because they might be out of stuff.
Well,
Right.
then you get what you get.
Yeah.
I understand. But that's how I do. I don't want to stand there whole show holding a shirt.
I
not.
don't buy a lot of shirts anymore. I'll usually buy a record or something like
A
that.
record?
Yeah, they usually have like a tour record.
Hmm.
Like a special edition.
I wish
That's
more
good.
bands would do beanies, like winter hats. I would
Yeah.
buy one at every single concert I ever go to if bands did that.
Well, put the word out there.
I am right now.
You're getting some juice there in New
You're
York.
just listening to the wrong bands. I bet if you wanted some of those metal bands merches, they'd have some beanies for you.
I don't think I've ever seen it. I mean, I've been to metal shows with Brian.
Hmm.
I would wear a metal band if it was like a cool hat.
There's a lot of metal bands that will sell you like Scullies and stuff.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I want.
Yeah, well,
I was pretty disappointed Fall Out Boy didn't have one. I was like, I feel like you guys would sell out of these if you put
I'm
this
surprised they
on.
don't have like one of those dumb hats that Patrick wears.
the
Fedora.
Tam O'Shanter or whatever.
Yeah.
The,
Oh,
little,
yeah, the golf.
the newsboy cap.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, especially since a lot of those bands, they're losing their hair. You'd think that they'd want to extend some article of merch to the people in their audience that are in a similar situation. Alan, I can't find PCU anywhere. There's a DVD on eBay, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I have it on.
I think it's on Amazon, is what I saw, but I have not.
Speaking of Amazon, is anybody watching The Goat?
No.
We kind of stumbled onto this. The hell's his name? Daniel Tosh, who I hadn't seen. I couldn't tell you how long I hadn't seen Daniel Tosh, and he's hosting a reality. It's a competition show of reality stars to find out who is the best, who's the GOAT, the best reality star. Now, I haven't heard of any of these people, but they're all on these shows. But Tosh is the only reason it's worth watching this show, because he's very funny. But I'm curious what kind of, you figure a show like that where you're just, if you're the host, you're just cutting interstitials. You're just going in there talking to the people going, okay, today, what you got to do? And then you're kind of hosting the competition itself, but it's probably a couple of hours work a day for him, which has got to be a sweet gig. Some of these reality shows, the host is like always there, always around. Like they're he's just kind of in and out, but he's funny enough. And we just stumbled across it. And I'm kind of a sucker for that stuff now too. If I find like one of those dumb because I don't know who the people are, so I can go in cold. They're like, oh, this guy was on, and there are so many people. Think of how long reality television has been around now. 25 years, 30 years. There are so many people who have been on reality shows. I don't even know how you get on a show like this.
Well, they're already on another show, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying. But so many people have been on other shows.
Yeah, they have.
How do you beat out all those other
they have
people?
agents and stuff.
Whoever's like the favorite, from those other shows.
Yeah, and they probably have someone that has casted a bunch of those other shows. So they go, oh, this person was good on this show. This person was good on that show. They know that world.
There was a guy from RuPaul's Drag Race who most of the time, obviously, was not in drag. And he looked like powder. It was very off-putting. But, yeah, it's a wild show. For people who are suckers for that kind of show, it's on Amazon Prime. It's called The GOAT. And Daniel Tosh is the host. I have to break. I'm going to have those Funny Bus tickets for you. Tomorrow night, we're going back out on the Cleveland Funny Bus. Bill is going to be your host because we were out yesterday. I'm going to hand off both pair of tickets for tomorrow night. So we'll get a couple of winners after the break. We'll have Hot Celebrity Goss with Perez Bilton later on. If you want to text me for something, 35192. Get me there, AlanCoxShow.com.